As we move forward and we learn the best learning practices, remember that this is part of where you get your attention. So sensing is going to be able to answer the question of, do you pay more attention to information that comes in through those five senses? Sensing, that attribute or preference, makes up 73% of our total population. When you look at sensing, they have a key word, and the key word to remember is detail-oriented. This type of a student is more interested in knowing, how does this relate? Anytime any content is approached, remember, this student wants to know how it is going to relate to their life, to their problems, to their situation, their community. It doesn't matter, they just need to have a relationship. Next, let's look at some of those best instructional strategies for the sensing preference type. Remember that they are a very active learner because they really enjoy those five senses as well, and they learn through those five senses. Remember, that's hearing, seeing, touching, sight, right? We had that with the seeing. You have taste, you have smell, but you want to be able to integrate as many of these senses as possible into their learning experience. This, of course, means that they're really going to be interested in aesthetics. Aesthetics are important to them. They like to be able to assess things and to identify them through their five senses. And they're very detail-oriented, so don't forget that. They love to engage emotion in their learning environment, and they prefer to have some examples. As we move forward, remember that they are going to really enjoy field trips. And field trips is because they enjoy that experiential learning. They're going to be able to see how it applies to them, as well as having that hands-on experience. The much and more that you can implement and put in the touch for them, the more they're going to be able to retain. Also, remember that modeling is going to be very, very important for these sensing types because they're going to want to be able to see how someone else does things, and they like to be able to observe that. But don't forget that they need that hands-on approach. So you may want to model quickly and then give them the opportunity to try it for themselves. Don't forget objectives. Objectives are important because that goes along with that detail. They want the details, and they're going to learn with a moderate pace of instruction. They love physicality. Make sure that they are able to interact with their environment as well as having that practical application. They're going to really want to be able to preview information, to be able to see it. So at the end of any kind of lesson, you may want to say, and tomorrow we're going to approach whatever it's going to be, but make sure that you have that in there, as well as an opportunity to problem solve. One of the things I love to do with my sensing students is give them a challenge as they walk away from the classroom, whatever it is. How are you going to apply this today? What can you do today? How is this important to you? But giving them an opportunity to use what they've learned in a problem-solving approach. They enjoy the relationships and the patterns in the information. So whenever they can make some kind of connection or scaffold it to prior information, they're going to be very excited. They love structure. They love to be able to talk things through verbally, as well as being able to have a visual interaction with their information and with content. One of the best things to do for all of these different learning personalities is a choice board. And with the choice board, you are able to create a variety. Maybe you want it to be only a 9 grid, a 3x3, but you're able to make as many choices as you want. And then you allow the students to choose what they want to do. And this can be work for any subject or any topic. Now the students have the opportunity to choose what they like best. Now, if you want them to reach beyond themselves and to be able to try something they wouldn't normally do, you can still give them these same opportunities, and then they're able to reach just a little bit outside of their comfort zone without feeling completely out of sync with themselves. For example, one thing that I've done with the choice board is I will go through and say to a student, go through and X out everything you absolutely would not want to do, and then say, now I want you to choose one of them. Now what they've done is they've been able to really choose something that is really outside of their comfort zone, and it causes them to grow just a little bit. So for instance, with an introvert, they may not be very happy or excited about doing some kind of role play. However, an interview or going and approaching a stranger to interview them may not be as difficult as role playing.